Gentlemen, welcome human rights activist and political analyst Curtis Ubebo. Welcome to TMI.
Yeah, Mr. Winston, good morning. Thanks for having me. And viewers at home, good morning.
All right. Now for what First Source talked about, he said this is not a case of winch hunt, talking about the probe panel set up by the Kaduna State Assembly. That is a matter of accountability. That is not sensing any rifts between the governor and, of course, his predecessor. Now, what do you feel about this?
All right. I bet to differ a little because I don't believe it can, in its entirety, true that most of these probes that is being initiated by State House of Assembly is not doesn't have political undertone. Over time, this kind of probe that we have seen on experience is usually as a result of rift between either the outgone government and the incumbent. That is what usually instigates probe. But on the other hand, whether there is a rift between the former governor of Kaduna State and the current governor, what matters or what it aims to achieve is accountability, which is paramount or sacrosanct in our democracy. So he should be able to give account of his activities while he was in office. Because every dime that comes to the treasury of a government belongs to the people. It does not belong to the governor, neither does it belong to those in government. So it is expected that, having led the people, you will give account of your activities in the office. So whether it is for accountability, whether it is as a result of the political indifference, what matters that it should be accountable to the people.
Should be accountable to the people.
Yes.
Well, now, if you take a look at our history as a country, this particular thing happened in Rivers State, where Rotimi Amechi was called upon to give account. He never obliged that particular invitation, and the heavens didn't fall. In this case, you see El-Rufai going to answer to this particular committee.
I won't say
Yeah.
we're in a different political dispensation, though it's the same All Progressive Congress, which I'm a member of the party. See, we're in a political era in Nigeria where anything can happen. And we are in a different political era where you have to answer. Let's check what happened in Kogi State yesterday. It was a real fight.
But this time around, the successor was solely behind the predecessor.
Because they are still in good terms.
That is why I talked about rift.
Because they are still in good terms. Now look at what's going to happen. The same Yaya Bello went to Kogi State High Court and secured an injunction that is saying, EFCC, don't arrest me. But the federal court have said, you have to come. If you were to be before, nothing like that would happen. The president have said it before now. If you have any question, if you are called to answer any question, just go jejely, go and answer your question. We are not in the former political era where one man will be in CBN giving dollar to his cronies to do whatever they like, and the country is going down. This one is not about fights. Let's leave out the fight. What is right is what we are talking about here. Rotimi Amechi did not go because he was a powerful minister then. I don't know if you are getting it. He was a powerful minister then. Now, let's assume there are traces, there are financial traces to the present minister of Abuja, which is Wike. If the FCT minister is being called the FCT, they will go and answer. Because if you refuse to go, that is to say the president is not ready to work for Nigerians. So, Rotimi Amechi did not go because the political era then was quite different, and the one we are now is unique. We are trying to revive the country from the slump we are. We are trying to bring back the country to a working country, and you are telling me one governor who I classify them as the number 2 or 3 problem we have in Nigeria, you are telling me the man is not going to answer? He will answer. If he's not going to answer, meaning the man is having things he's hiding. I have served you. You called me to service, and I came, I served. Now I am out, and you are calling me. First of all, come and give us details of your service. Give us accountability, how things were being run. Each couple, like he said before, that came to the treasury of the state governor, it's not for the governor.
All right. Over now to you.
Yes, I also have a contrary opinion.
Administration, and Mr. President is so keen about fighting corruption. Take it up from there.
All right. I have a contrary opinion to this. It's not about the political era. It's not about the president. This is my own opinion. It is what it is provided for in our laws. I want to ask him, if the governor refused to appear before the panel,
the ex-governor,
what is the consequences provided for? Does the State of Assembly have the constitutional powers to sanction anybody who they invite and refuse to appear before the panel? That is where the problem lies. Do they have the constitutional power? No. To sanction, they do not have the political power to do so. So the state, whoever official, either S or president that the House of Assembly is inviting for a probe, it's at liberty to appear before the committee, because there is no constitutional consequences for a refusal. And I have also said that as a country, as a nation, our problem starts with the Nigerian Constitution and ends in Nigerian Constitution, because this probe we are talking about ought to have been started from when these officers are in government or in office. But if you look at the provisions of our Constitution critically, starting from section 122 to section 128, 29 of the Nigerian Constitution, clearly provide that any officer of the state government cannot be investigated or invited for questioning while in office. That means if a governor is in office or a deputy governor and SSD of a state, he cannot be invited by EFCC for questioning. The EFCC cannot demand accountability, cannot demand for the statement of account of the government for investigation. Who does that? Where does that happen? That is why you see that the state government or the state governor have this should I say immunity for misappropriation with impunity, without any recourse to law, because they are, as at that moment, they are above the law. They cannot be invited, they cannot be investigated. There have been series of court cases that while a governor is in office or deputy governor or principal officer, the anti-graft agencies cannot invite them to inquire on how the state monies have been spent.
All right. Knowing fully well from what he said that it may just be an exercise in futility because of our constitution, do you think this probe will hold water?
Mr. Winty, everything he said is not a lie, but let me give an analysis here. The governor have an immunity. Before he came, I said something that the State House of Assembly ought to have asked the ministries through the commissioners to come present their budget every year. That's what it ought to be. You see the National Assembly calling each minister, you come, what happened in your ministry, how was the money being spent and all. That same thing ought to have happened in the State Assembly. But because the governor, all the governors have been able to pocket them, we are not seeing things like that. Now, accountability can be done. Not like we educators who said there's what we call formative and summative evaluation. While you are going, you can evaluate your student. When you are through with teaching, you can also evaluate your student. The same thing can happen in government. There can be summative and formative, all in process. Now, as a governor, if you can come and present a budget before the State Assembly, the same you should be able to come and tell them the budget of 3 naira that was given to me, 1 naira is left. I have spent 2 naira. Now, if you call a governor to come and appear before you and he refuses to appear,
what will you do?
Listen, sir. Listen. The question is very simple. You have your own, how do you call it?
ESCOs or FECO?
No, not ESCO. Like you can't be sued on. You cannot be sued as a governor.
Yeah, immunity.
You have your own immunity,
yes.
But that's not to say you cannot be impeached. Now, if we have a working House of Assembly, and you as a governor first of all said 10 billion was used in this state, that's the budget you approved for me. Now I'm coming to tell you, out of the 10 billion, I can't account for 3 billion. What am I still doing as a governor? But because we have House of Assembly members that don't even know what they are doing, like that's what I have said in my introduction. Yeah. These people, they are there. The governor at times unpick them. The governors at times just say, you go and represent a God. You represent Oredo. Now, when they are there, they are going to be loyal. Because they are loyal to the governor, they will do his bidding. If we are saying you can't be arrested, EFCC cannot come and say, okay, let's check your financial transaction and details. But the State House of Assembly can do that. Right. A governor that will present a budget to a State Assembly and will not come back at the end of that fiscal year and say, these are my summary after the year. It's not a governor. That's where we lack the accountability.
Has any governor done it in Nigeria?
No.
Exception.
No governor have done that.
I'll come back to you. Now you see, now we're talking about what's going on right now in Kaduna, so you get to realize that this situation is like almost in every state of the federation accountability. They don't call their commissioners to give account or stewardship of their ministry. Now let's take a look at what is happening. As someone was saying, the EFCC, they will not heard them invite former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai. And right now we're seeing the House of Assembly inviting this man to come give account. I don't think something is truly all right in all of this. Maybe somehow someone is having a federal backing. If you talk about federal backing and federal might, do you think this probe will see the light of the day, comparing the powers that be, federal versus state?
All right. Nigeria is in entirety is a theater of act where we see a lot of dramas on a daily basis. Like I started with, the said probe must have, or there is a political undertone. Like you said, it happens everywhere. There is no government or there is no principal officer that have been in public office in Nigeria that will come and say that he has not in any way loot or siphoned public funds. But why is it that the probe is being selective? Why is everybody that have been to the public office, being governor, being local government chairman, not being probed if there is no political order? Yes, I can't categorically tell you now that he has a backing. The former Kaduna State governor has a backing of the federal government or the president, because I don't have proof to that. But what we are seeing, the drama we are seeing, the audacity at which some person speaks, even when they are being indicted, prove that there is more that we are not seeing. And looking at the whole process, there is usually a conspiracy or complacency between the State House of Assembly, between the state government, and even the National Assemblies. We have often said that over time that the State House of Assembly have been sandwiched into the apron string of the executive tyranny, because we have seen over time that the state government uses the State House of Assembly to manipulate the system. And when you talk about borrowing money, the state government or the state governor cannot go and borrow money without the approval of the State House of Assembly and even National Assembly, because like the Shehu said, the former senator in one of the senatorial districts in Kaduna, said when he was in office as a senator that he had a serious political conflict with the then governor, because he refused to approve the said borrow, because he has inquired and discovered that the said money was not made for any investment, that it was basically for infrastructural development. And he asked, how are you going to pay back this debt, to the tune of $350 million, if I'm not mistaken? How are you going to pay this money back? And they could not defend the process. On that note, he refused to consent, because he will have to also convince the National Assembly, because the state cannot borrow money internationally without the approval of the federal government. He said for that reason, he was blackmailed out of office. So therefore, any financial misappropriation that you see in the state must be in conspiracy with the State House of Assembly and the senators or rep representing that state in the National Assembly. It's all conspiracy. It's called complacency within those in power. And not until we have reasons to rewrite or change the Nigerian constitution, this problem will continue, because there are several lapses and lacuna in our constitution that must be addressed.
Back again to the constitution and selective judgment. Don't forget that Ododo is presenting his own godfather in court right now. Yaya Bello. That's what people are saying on the page of the newspaper, on the internet, online. You're like presenting your godfather and all that. But in this particular case, there's an EFCC going after Yaya Bello. But in the case of Kaduna State, the ex-governor, we didn't hear anything about EFCC, like, proving this man. Is the state itself that is proving this man? Is it been selective? If I may ask that question.
Wednesday, the normal operation ought to be when the state writes and you refuse to appear, they petition you before the FCC.
Yes.
Now,
so that is the next step. Is that what you're saying?
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And I'll tell you, we are in for a different political era. The reason I'm happy is because a lot of things that people do and they go away with it before, a lot is not going to happen again. We have been crying in this state. Let me come back to my state. We have been crying in this state. Money are coming, we are not seeing it. Which project are they using this money for? MOU have been signed, and there is no result for those MOU. Year after year, billions of naira are being given out as projects, as a, what do they call it, budgets. And at the end of the year, nothing to show for it. The problem we have is this. He's talking about the constitution.
But some people say that we have something to show for it in those states. That's the commitment of some persons.
I have my opinion.
Oh, sure.
Now, he's talking about the constitution. Yeah, there are a lot of lapses in the constitution. But at present, what we are seeing here, they are not constitutional deficiency. These are not happening because the constitution actually gave them that right to do it. The issue is this. As a governor, you have immunity because they want that while you are governing, nobody should tamper with your ruling. That's why the immunity was given to governors. So that somebody will not wake up and say, the governor did this, I'm taking it to a social court. The governor did this, you understand those kind of things. But now, if we as citizens can't take the governor to court, don't forget something. We as citizens can report the governors to those representing us, the House of Assembly. But will the Edo State House of Assembly call the governor and appear before them today? No. Those that are supposed to be the APC member, I'm an APC, let me talk in my party, may collect money and say, no, you leave the governor, how many months remain? The Labour Party people will be joining the PDP to be even doing, to be attending some meetings.
Just your own
my own opinion.
If it's your opinion, you just can't.
Now, you know what ought to happen, Mr. Winty? What ought to happen in that is the APC and the PDP have to come together and say, this, we are, even if we are majority, but we can have, even if we are minority, we can have majority. This thing the government is doing is not right. Let's move a motion against it. Then you begin to see that the government will be sitting down to work, because there are people within the state assembly that are ready to checkmate him. But presently nobody does that. Everybody will just go to the assembly, you sit morning till evening, at times they will not even present these. Those you have representing you will not even come to your local government and ask, what do we even need? Which way can I come in through legislative means?
All right. Well, I'm getting strong signal right now to hand over to Abuja. So, Curtis, you have a last line on this discussion. How do you think others will play out?
To me, over time, we keep doing the same thing over and over. We are expecting different results. He kept talking about new era. I don't believe Nigeria has changed, most especially since we got since the session of democracy.
1999.
Wait,
till now, hold on.
The minister was removed.
Has anything changed?
He has the floor.
Has anything changed?
Yes.
It has been the same story. It has from bad to worse. That is what we have experienced.
No.
That is what we have experienced. He talked about the Edo State. Probably he's in the opposition in the state or at the power at the national level. with the provision of maybe his political affiliation. But we see things very differently. Now, this alarm have been raised over time on monies that have come to this state. For instance, the 13% derivative that we were told came to Edo State some time ago. The ex-governor of Rivers State blew it out of proportion. We were told that some certain billions went to Rivers State, and he said he has been able to build flyovers all over the place. We now ask questions in Edo State. What was this money that came to Edo State used for? Today, the state governor or anybody in government have not been able to come up to tell us. And nobody is asking questions because of the coverage that the Constitution has given to the officers in public office. Not just the governor. The court have ruled that the anti-graft agencies or police cannot invite or inquire into state government accounts, not just inviting the governor. Imagine what that is. That if there's an allegation of corruption, let's assume in the management of ITV, as it stands now, that EFCC cannot inquire into the expenditure, into how the money is being spent. Until the House of Assembly do a petition to that effect. Until the House of Assembly do an investigation and probably come to the authorities that are empowered to investigate to do so.
But for what he said these are the members, they are in cahoots with
us. Of course, that is why my last submission that the State of Assembly have been sandwiched.
Thank you.
Into the apple string of the executive tyranny.
Thank you so much,
gentlemen. And conspiracy.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for a wonderful opinion. The opinions, it has nothing to do with ITV.